Hello, my name is Prabjot Suti. One aspect of filmmaking I have become recently interested in is screenwriting. The films we have looked at in this class have quality screenwriting, and how these screenwritings were developed is what caught my interest. The screenwriting of the Dutch film Spoorloos, also known as The Vanishing, is what I will be discussing. One of the inspirations for the film came from a real-life incident where a female tourist went missing in France. Tim Krabbe, one of the screenwriters, read about the incident by chance in a newspaper. The search for the tourist was called off shortly after the disappearance was announced. Krabbe researched for 10 years, finding out that the tourist simply went on the wrong bus. He calls her and thanks her for giving him inspiration from the film. What I found captivating was Krabbe's dedication to finding out what happened to the tourist. This dedication is seen in the film, reflected in the character Rex, as Rex continues to search and he is adamant to find out what happened to Saskia, even 3 years after her disappearance. Another inspiration for the film came from Tim Krabbe's own novel titled The Golden Egg. It is noted that the film is adapted from this novel, though the film has more depth in terms of narrative and character traits. This was done, perhaps, in order to create a more thrilling storyline and help explain how the characters of Rex, Raymond, and Saskia came to be in more detail than it did in the novel. When discussing about the actual screenplay, there are two distinctive qualities. One, viewing the abduction from both Rex's, the victim's, side, and Raymond's, the abductor's, perspective. And two, the layout of the story from Rex's eyes, seeing him frantically search for Saskia as soon as she disappears, and 3 years later as well. The screenwriting excels in showing Rex's character development, with Rex stating that he simply wishes to know what happened to her, how the abductor did it, and whether she is alive or not. The film changes gears about halfway through, and now we view the story from Raymond's eyes. At first he seems like a common family man, but almost quickly we notice that he has been following Rex, and there is something strange about him and his personality. After some time, Rex and Raymond meet, and Raymond tells Rex of how the abduction went down. He explains everything except what he did to Saskia after kidnapping her. Now, this is where the screenwriting excels again. Rex is anxious, and we, the audience, are also anxious to know what happened to Saskia. However, Rex is cautious at first by Raymond's offer of showing him how exactly what he did to Saskia. Now, this only intrigues us, but again, this is from Rex's perspective, and it's his decision. Eventually, and to our satisfaction, Rex agrees to go through the same fate as his wife did, resulting in one of the most thrilling endings in cinematic history. So the layout of the plot draws some analysis. It is practical from the beginning and carefully orchestrated to keep the viewer in suspense. At first, the relationship between Rex and Saskia is explored a bit, indicating they both care for each other very much. The story plays a trick with the audience by making them think Saskia was abducted in the tunnel, because of the dark setting, her not being there in the car. But then the story continues when it's realized that Saskia was really at the end of the tunnel. Thus, the audience now wonders when Saskia will vanish. When it does happen in the following scene, we expect the routine frantic search for a few scenes, and then a few scenes of abductive victim and the abductor. This is where the audience is tricked again. Instead, the story forwards 3 years, where Rex still wants to know what happened to Saskia, and we, the audience, do too, since nothing else was revealed to us. Some satisfaction comes when Rex and Raymond meet, and Raymond explains how he executed his plan. It is not until the ending that we, the audience, and Rex as well, gets to know what Raymond did to Saskia. Nothing is said by the characters, but the ending scene gives enough context to let us and Rex know Saskia's fate. In conclusion, the screenwriting of The Vanishing is one that is quite practical, partly due to its inspiration being from a real-life incident, but is also imaginative, partly due to its inspiration from one of the screenwriter's own novels. It doesn't spoon-feed its audience, which is a screenwriting quality that is strongly admired. And spoon-feeding the audience is somewhat too apparent in contemporary cinema.